Good morning, hope you're right. Today I'm going to make tomato ketchup out of these tomatoes, which are a little bit bad. So there are some like rotten parts which I will cut them off and I will use the good parts to make my tomato ketchup. So I'm going to take two medium-sized onions and I have chopped them really well, and I have added 2 tablespoons of cooking oil in it, and I'm going to saute them on low heat. And I have chopped my tomatoes. They are looking good now, and they are green as well as some red tomatoes in it. I think they're almost 1 kilogram of tomatoes. They could be a little bit more. So onions are looking good now. I don't want them to caramelize too much, and I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of paprika powder, and almost 1 teaspoon of black pepper powder. You can adjust these spices and salt as per your taste. I'm mixing these spices really well, and now I'm going to add my tomatoes in it. And I'm going to mix the tomatoes really well with the spices. I'm not going to add any water in it. So the tomatoes have already got lots of water in them, so they will release their own water. So I'm going to add a little bit of frozen bell peppers as I like the taste. You can skip them. Of course, they are not added in traditional tomato ketchup. And I'm going to add 2 green chilies as I like hot tomato ketchup. You can skip them if you don't like your tomato ketchup to be hot. So I'm mixing everything really well, and I'm going to cover the pan and let it simmer on low to medium heat for almost 2 to 3 hours. So you need to keep checking on the tomatoes from time to time to give them stir and make sure they don't burn at the bottom of the pan. So as you can see, there's lots of water in it which is released by tomatoes, and I have covered it again and let it simmer again. So it's almost after 2 hours and the tomatoes are looking really nice and soft, and I'm going to stir them again, make sure everything is mixed together. I'm going to cover it again and let it cook for another hour. So more you cook it, it will taste better. So it's almost been 3 hours now, and it's looking really nice and cooked. So I'm going to use my hand blender to blend everything up to really fine consistency. You can use a food processor. It's really hot, so you need to be careful. You don't want to burn yourself. So hand blender is a good and easy option. If you use food processor, you may need to let it cool down a little bit. And as you can see, it's changing its color as it's cooking. So there were green tomatoes in it and there were red tomatoes in it, but as it's cooking, it's getting towards more red color. So it's really fine and thick now, and I'm going to add this tomato paste in it, which will give it more red color and also like more tomato taste. So you can add tomato paste in it if you have on hand, or you can use red tomatoes to make your tomato ketchup. I'm not going to add any artificial color in it, so I'm relying on the natural color of tomato paste and tomatoes themselves. So it was almost like 400-gram pack of tomato paste, and here I'm adding like half kg of fine granulated sugar, and I'm mixing everything really well, and I will let it cook for another hour. So like sugar and tomato paste and everything is really mixed together. Here I'm adding 2 tablespoons of ground rice flour, and it will help the tomato ketchup to thicken. So after adding this ground flour, mixing it really well. So you need to make sure that it doesn't form lumps in it. So you need to keep mixing it, and then I'm going to cover it and let it simmer on very low heat for another hour. So you, at this point, you need to keep checking on it because it's quite thick now and can easily burn. So here after another hour, you can see it's ready now, and it's quite thick and the real taste, like real color of tomato ketchup. So I'm going to sieve it using a very fine sieve to remove all the seeds or any bigger parts in it. So I used almost like more almost 1 kg of tomatoes, and I think this has made like more than 1 kg of ketchup, and I didn't add any water in it. It's all natural ingredients in it, and I did add some more salt in it, like 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of paprika powder. You can adjust the spices and ingredients as per your taste, and you can also adjust the consistency. If you want it to be a bit more thicker, you can add cornflour starch in it. So here's quite good now. I like this consistency and the color and taste. So I'm going to preserve it in a jar which I have washed and sterilized. So you can use any plastic or glass jar. You just make sure that it's washed, dry and sterilized, and you can keep it in your fridge. I'm making this first time, so I'm not sure how long it can stay in fridge, but I have googled it and it says like it can stay in fridge up to 1 month. So it's quite taste and yummy. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you very much.